Hey guys, my name is JC and we're back with Jinnie Fay as requested by you. The goal of this deck is to take all the best token makers and then pivot between making bodies or resources, depending on what we need at the time, until we can develop a go-wide board state to take the game. If this seems like a deck you'd like to build yourself, then make sure to stop by the channel where we have a deck tech discussing all of the included cards as well as the overall strategy. Let's see just how powerful token makers with Jinnie can be. Alright guys, let's see who Jinnie is coming up against today. We have Croesus the Purger, we have Kozilek Butcher of Truth, and finally we have the partner pairing of Raihan Last of the Abzan and Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker. Okay, if we look at our opening hand, it's quite good. We've got turn 1 Ragavan, always really good to see. Gala Greeters is going to start to generate tokens. Scute Swarm with a good number of lands in our hand is really great, so I think we can keep this. And we draw Smothering Tithe for turn. That is a good draw. Alright, well let's start. We'll play our Verdant Catacombs for turn. We're going to crack it. We'll put our Stomping Ground into play. And now we'll cast Ragavan. And that's going to be our turn 1 done. Croesus plays a land for turn. And now they cast Vampiric Tutor. And that's it for them. Kozilek plays a land. And they just pass it there. Raihan just plays a tap land for turn. And that's going to be it for them. And we draw Avacyn's Pilgrim for turn. Well, we'll play our Forest for turn. Then we'll move to combat. And when in doubt, always hit the player that's just tutored. So we're going to go swing in at the Croesus player. That triggers Ragavan, and it seems to have also triggered the Croesus player, because that caused them to scoop right there. We make a treasure token, which if nothing else, that just demonstrates the power of Ragavan right there. One hit and it can take a player out. So with our treasure token now, we'll just play our Gala Greeters. And then we're just going to pass the turn there. Kozilek plays a land for turn, but they're just going to pass it after that. Raihan plays a tap land for turn, and now they cast the Ozolith. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. And that's it for them. We draw a Toski for turn. Alright, let's start by playing our Rockfall Vale. Then we're going to move to combat. We'll send Ragavan at Raihan, and Gala Greeters at Kozilek. Ragavan hits, and we get a Farseek. Well, that would be nice to cast, but to be honest with you, nothing's going to ramp us better than Smothering Tithe, so I think we'll actually pass on that. Damage goes through. So let's start by firstly casting our Smothering Tithe, and then we'll finish up by casting our Avacyn's Pilgrim. That's going to trigger Gala Greeters. We'll make a tap treasure token. And that is our turn done, and on turn 3, I think we're looking pretty good at the moment. So let's pass it over to our opponents. Smothering Tithe triggers on Kozilek's draw step. They give us the treasure. They play a land for turn. It is a command beacon. And now they play Worn Power Stone. And that's it for the Kozilek player. Smothering Tithe triggers on Raihan's draw step. We make another treasure. They play a land for turn. And now they cast their commander, Raihan Last of the Abzan. It ETBs with 3/1/1 counters on it. Whenever a creature you control dies or is put into the command zone, if it had one or more 1/1 counters on it, you may put that many 1/1 counters on target creature. And that is it for the Raihan player. We draw a land for turn. Let's start by casting our commander, Jinnie Fay. That's going to trigger Gala Greeters. We're going to make a tap treasure token. That will trigger Jinnie. We're going to make a dog. That triggers Gala Greeters once again. This time we'll put a 1/1 counter on Gala Greeters. Next we're going to cast Toski, because we want to start drawing some cards, especially if a board wipe comes down soon. And that triggers Gala Greeters once again. It gains us 2 life. Now we'll move to combat. We'll send Ragavan and Gala Greeters at the Kozilek player. That triggers Ragavan and Toski. We'll put Ragavan at the bottom of the stack so we see what we draw with Toski. We get Triumph of the Hordes. Okay, there's a finisher. And another land. We'll make another dog off of the Ragavan trigger. And it looks like we exile an Endbringer, which we're definitely not casting, so that gets exiled. And I think that's going to be us done for turn. Smothering Tithe triggers on Kozilek's draw step. They give us a treasure. We'll make a dog. That triggers Gala Greeters. We'll make a tap treasure token, which we are going to convert into a dog. That triggers Gala Greeters once again. We'll put a 1/1 counter on it. Kozilek plays a land for turn, an Eldrazi Temple. And now they cast Introduction to Annihilation, targeting Ragavan. Exile target non-land permanent, its controller draws a card. I'm actually pretty surprised to see that didn't hit Smothering Tithe or Toski, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, they're probably just afraid because Ragavan did take out a player earlier. but it looks like that's it for them. Well, if the Rayhan player doesn't have a board wipe here, or a counter spell, we're probably going to win next turn with our Triumph of the Hordes. So Smothering Tithe does trigger on their draw step. We'll make another dog. That triggers Gala Greeters. We'll make the tap treasure. We'll convert that to a dog. That triggers Gala Greeters once again. We'll give it a 1/1 counter. Rayhan plays a land for turn. They cast their commander Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on Ishai. And that is it for their turn. We draw Wolverine Riders for turn. Alright, well let's start by playing our Karplusan Forest for turn. And let's give it a go. Let's try to cast our Triumph of the Hordes. That triggers Ishai. That resolves. Alright, so let's move to combat. We'll send Gala Greeters, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Ginny, 1 dog. Actually, we'll go 2 dogs over at Kozilek, and then we'll send the rest over at the Rayhan player. And that causes the Kozilek player to scoop. And that is the game done, guys. Alright, let's go to the wrap-up and discuss what happened. Well, this game here was the perfect demonstration of what a strong opening Ginny hand looks like and plays out. We had strong turn 1 ramp in Ragavan, a powerful token enabler in Gala Greeters, and one of the strongest token generators in Smothering Tithe, all within the first few turns. We also got to see how Ginny's ability allows us to pivot between token types depending on what we need at the time. Smothering Tithe is a powerful mana generator, but if we don't have cards in hand or a place to dump that mana, the card becomes much less useful. But with Ginny out, we can convert those treasures into bodies to present a dangerous board presence. Gala Greeters also pulled its weight, gaining its life, generating bodies, and buffing itself up. For a 2 mana value creature, it has a lot of utility in this deck, and honestly, it feels like it was made for Ginny Fey. I don't have much to say for our opponents, as the game went so fast they didn't really have time to set up their value pieces. All I will say is this: never underestimate a turn 1 Ragavan, because it can be a game ender for at least some of your opponents. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed seeing this callback to Ginny Fey, and for those Ginny fans out there, I hope it was enough to quench your thirst, even for the time being. Now our next and last game as voted by you is going to be for Tribal, so I hope to see you guys there. Otherwise, take care guys.